Hey guys, it's Roscoe on Space Coach here. I've got another Bigelow Aerospace update for you. Now, we've spoken in the past about how once the beam had been launched and was on station, it'd be very likely we would start to see the initial orders and leases for BA330 habitats. Well, even though the beam is now up there, it has not yet been unpacked. I think that's happening next week, and it's not going to be essentially expanded or initialized until May. We have now seen the first agreement being announced. Yesterday, Monday the 11th of April, Bigelow Aerospace and ULA held a press conference in Colorado, where ULA are based, of course, and they've signed this agreement. It's not actually a firm launch contract as such, but it's to work out the technical details of launching a BA330 using one of ULA's Atlas V rockets in the year 2020, so not that far from now. Now, if they can work out those details, and I'm sure that they shall, we'll finally start to see these habitats coming into use, both in low Earth orbit as additions to or replacements for the ISS, of course, perhaps as a Martian or lunar base, and of course as deep space exploration craft. Now, the Atlas V is the only rocket that's currently capable of launching a BA330, although obviously the Falcon Heavy and the SLS will be able to do it down the line. But it does make sense, therefore, that initially they've signed it with ULA for an Atlas launch. This is in fact the first agreement between a launch provider and a habitat provider with no government involvement whatsoever, and this is indeed what it will be like in the future. This is the first such agreement. There will be hundreds of them in the years and decades to come. People won't even blink twice. Like Elon Musk was saying in the aftermath of that very successful barge landing, it's successful when it becomes boring and no one pays any attention. That's probably what will happen with these as well. Now, this launch agreement as such, should help spur new industry in due course in low Earth orbit and beyond, especially once that space taxi service is up and running and becomes more and more dependable, the more number of flights there are, both to the ISS and to other stations. It'll lead to lots of opportunities that we can't even really think of now, in the same way that, say, the rise of the internet spread so much things that are different that we couldn't even conceive of. But certainly things like, say, opportunities for naming rights or leasing rights for these stations. We've spoken in the past of, say, like Emirates Station, for instance. I do expect something like that to happen. But Robert Bigelow actually mentioned in his press conference with ULA that they'd love to see Disney having a Disney space station. And given that Bigelow was originally going to call that Alpha Station, the 2-hab station, as a Skywalker station, that does kind of have a nice ring to it. It's kind of like going full circle. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see stations named after things from, say, Star Wars or Star Trek or any of the sci-fi franchises. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Just one other little aside on that. I think Elon Musk should sign a licensing deal with Disney and Lucasfilm and call the Brownsville spaceport that's under construction in South Texas as Mos Eisley or Anchorhead. I think that we should start naming our actual facilities after facilities. That's just my toppings on that. So anyway, guys, news on Bigelow. They are moving ahead as we suspected they would once the beam was launched. I have no doubt that we'll see other agreements in due course that will have firm launch contracts once they've worked out the technical details of this. Bear in mind, obviously, ULA is made up of Boeing and Lockheed, and Bigelow Aerospace did an awful lot of work with Boeing on the CST-100 Starliner. So, I mean, they know the capabilities of that craft, and I assume they've done the same with, say, the Dream Chaser and the Dragon as well. But obviously, they'll be very familiar with the Boeing launch service. So, guys, what do you think? Will it actually launch in 2020? They haven't decided if it is going to be 1 or 2. Now, I know that Bigelow's plan is for there to be a 2 habitat station. I don't know if you can launch them both at once. You might have to launch them individually. That's the good thing. We're probably now going to find out. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or suggestion to upcoming topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.